Hello Super Friends and welcome to DC TV Talk. This is the show where we talk all things Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow and Black Lightning. And in today's video we're going to be discussing who will be wearing the Earth Totem in Legends of Tomorrow Season 3. So let's discuss. Of course, the totems have been a huge factor in Legends of Tomorrow this season. I feel like I talk about the totems quite a lot, but I think it's a very exciting topic, and I think it's something that is one of the most unique things about this season of Legends. And it's very exciting to see how each member of the Legends is going to be getting their own totem in a way that they're going to be using in the fight against Malice. And we kind of know who all of them are going to be, except for the Earth Totem. It's like the final one who we don't really know who that's going to. But that's what I'm going to do in today's video. We're going to go through all the kind of remaining members of the Legends and try and figure out who will be bearing the Earth Totem. Now, this doesn't actually require us to go through all of the Legends one by one, because a lot of them we already know who is going to be wearing each of the totems. So we can gather that Sarah Lance will most likely be wearing the Death Totem, although she doesn't really want to, and because of what happened in this week's episode, she will be wearing the Death Totem, as she seems to be the only one who could potentially handle it. The Fire Totem has obviously gone to Mick, who I still hold my theory that I feel that Jax will come back and he'll use the Fire Totem, but at the moment it has gone to Mick. We have, of course, Kuasa, who will be bearing the Water Totem, who I imagine will turn against Malice. We have Zari, who of course has the Air Totem, and Amaya, who's going to be using the Spirit Totem. So the final one is the Earth Totem, and it's the final one. Nobody knows who's going to wear it yet, but obviously it has to be someone, right? So let's go through our remaining options. I'm going to start off with the one that a lot of people have been theorizing, and that is Ray Palmer. Now, Ray is somebody who has not actually had any connections with the totems whatsoever. He's always more been someone who's fascinated by them and fascinated by the look of them. Obviously, we did see him in Necromancing the Stone. We saw him kind of messing with the Fire Totem and trying to get him to try and figure it all out. So it'd be interesting to see him actually bear a totem and actually use its powers. Obviously, we know the Earth Totem is an extremely powerful totem. It's one of the more powerful ones. We can see how it can just overtake someone. We can also see its immense power. It's a very overpowered totem, actually, in comparison to the rest of them. They're like up there with like the Death Totem in terms of its power. And to see Ray perhaps succumb to that would be very interesting. Obviously, Ray, I think, serves a lot better as the guy who perhaps works on the totems and tries to figure them out, because he is the scientist at the end of the day. So he's kind of there trying to figure out, like he was with the Fire Totem. So I think it'd be interesting if he took over the Earth Totem. It'd be interesting, and it'd be quite cool to see him use those powers. But I don't know if he has that exact connection to really make him, you know, he doesn't really have that justification, I don't think, to actually want to use the Earth Totem and actually use a totem in general. So I don't feel Ray, although he's heavily kind of insisted on, I really don't think it will be Ray. There's also, of course, Nate Hayward, who doesn't have a totem at the moment. Nate is the only metahuman remaining on the Wave Rider. Oh no, actually, sorry, there is, of course, Wally West as well. But he is one of the only remaining metahumans, and that therefore gives him powers already without needing a totem. But in Necromancing the Stone, we do see him actually go for the Earth Totem. So, you know, there's a situation where they have to wield it, and Nate is the one who goes for it. And obviously, it doesn't quite get there, because he has the altercation with Sarah and the Death Totem, who puts herself in the form of his grandfather, and he doesn't actually get to that. But it is heavily hinted there that Nate would have taken the Earth Totem and used it himself to actually complete what he was trying to do. So it's interesting to actually see him perhaps lose to that, but I think it would have been cool to see Nate use it. Nate is an interesting one because, like I say, he is a metahuman already, so he already has powers. He doesn't need a totem to give him powers, because he's a metahuman. But I feel like Nate is maybe the most likely, just because how it's kind of been already set up. But I wonder if he is going to be the one, or maybe there's someone else. What about the newbie, Wally West? Obviously, Kid Flash, again, is the other metahuman. He, of course, has speedster powers, and if you remember, I was convinced that the final totem that we hadn't seen before the Death Totem, I was convinced it was going to be like a speedster totem, but I was wrong there. But could it be Wally? Wally would be an interesting one, because Wally, of course, is so powerful in his own right, especially in comparison to the rest of the Legends. He's extremely, extremely powerful, just being a speedster alone. And I feel perhaps giving him the Earth Totem could be a very clever way for the writers to actually dumb down Wally. We've already seen him kind of get dumbed down a little bit, which was my fear of him coming to Legends, was that he wasn't going to be able to use his powers as much. And we can see that again here. But giving him the Earth Totem would not only allow them to eliminate his speedster powers in a way, at least for the rest of the season, but until, you know, maybe he comes back in Season 4, maybe he'll go back to Flash after this, who knows. But, you know, it'll allow him to actually experiment with different powers and not be a speedster, because he doesn't really use his speed powers, really. We haven't really seen him use it that much, except maybe for jokes, and that's quite a shame. So I think it'd be interesting to perhaps give Wally the Earth Totem, just kind of see what you could do with it, and also just see how it would replace his speed. And I don't know if they would do this, because like I say, Wally, he is the newbie. I don't know if anybody trusts him as much yet, but it'd be really interesting, and I wonder if Wally is one of the bigger contenders in that department. Personally, if I had to choose one, I think it would have to go to Ray, just because, although I don't see how it could be Ray, it's just because Ray doesn't actually have any powers, you know, naturally, whereas Nate and Wally are both metahumans. Whereas Ray, he obviously has his suit, but that's, you know, an object, a manifestation that gives him powers. Whereas if he actually had the totem, again, it's a similar thing, but it would give him the Earth powers. I think it'd be really cool. Obviously, the Earth Totem was found in the Golden Age of Piracy. That's where they sort of went to in that episode, and obviously Ray was obsessed with that as well. I feel Ray would probably be the best fit for it, and again, he doesn't have any powers naturally, so it'd be cool to give him some more of those elemental powers. Plus, it seems like a lot of the big heavy hitters of the Legends are given the totem, so like Sarah has the Death Totem, Amaya has the Spirit Totem, and then obviously Kawasa has the Water Totem, but she's kind of separate. They've given Mick the Fire Totem. You know, it'd be interesting. So I think Ray, he definitely does suit the Earth Totem, and I would like to see Ray get some kind of powers like that. And it'd be interesting, because I imagine Brandon Routh would definitely be up for that, and he would definitely be up for kind of changing his look a little bit, because obviously that seems to be what the Earth Totem can do. Maybe they wouldn't possess him like they did with Blackbeard's partner in that episode. Maybe they would just, you know, Ray Palmer would just stay the same. But it'd be interesting, and I think it's really cool to see the Earth Totem come to fruition, and I really can't wait to see who wields it. Hopefully we'll find out next episode who it is, but it's the last one. Obviously everyone else each totem has got a bearer at the moment. We're just kind of waiting on Amaya to get a Spirit Totem back from Nora Dark. And like I say, I think in terms of the Fire Totem, I think that's definitely going to go to Jack Jefferson. I really do. Although Mick has got it at the moment, I can't see. It's just the perfect excuse to get Jack back on the show and give him his powers back. It makes so much sense. So, you know, come season 4, because obviously I don't know how long these totems are going to be around. I don't imagine they'll go into next season. The only one I think will stick around will be the Fire Totem, because it will be Jack's source of power. But the Earth Totem is the last one we need to see actually used by a legend, and it'd be really cool. I think if it's Ray or maybe Nate, I think it would be a really cool way to bring that into the fight against Malice. So who do you guys think will be wearing the Death Totem, or the Earth Totem, sorry, come the finale of Legends of Tomorrow Season 3? Like I said, there are a few competitors for it, and it's quite easy to narrow down, as like I said, about half of the Legends have their own totems already, so it's quite easy to narrow down. There's only a few left there. So it's really cool to actually have a bit more insight in this one. But who do you think it's going to be? Do you think it'll be Ray, Nate, or Wally? They're the only ones I think in my head, if I can remember off the top of my head, who are the only ones who don't have totems. Like I said, I personally think it'll be Ray, just because he doesn't have powers of his own, whereas Nate and Wally do. So I feel like it'd be a lot better for him just to get his own powers, at least, you know, until the end of the season, when these totems will most likely go away. But who do you guys think it will be? Tell me in the comment section down below. So, thank you guys for watching this episode of DC TV Talk. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, it'll help me out a lot, and share this video with anyone and everyone you know who loves DC TV and get them to join the community. And as always guys, please subscribe for all of your latest content on Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, and Black Lightning. And with all that said guys, I hope to see you again in my next video.